Well, thank you very much and welcome to the post-game lobby. I'm here with Verius, with Sheepy, and with the Fishio. Holy moly, 2 days in a row. We go all the way to 5 games. That was personally one of the most action-packed, interesting Game 5s I've watched in a gauntlet because both teams were willing to fight so much.
It's like an LPL game. We had some high-level team fights at the very end there. That mid-lane fight one, where we saw so many outplays from so many individual members, that actually ended up very even. Slight advantage to Splice, I think, but it was so fun to watch. I thought it was insanely tense. And then G2, like, they nearly lost that game. Yeah. If it wasn't for a couple of clutch fights, it could have gone either way.
Yeah. Interesting also that in the last game, you know, throughout the series, it was, okay, Perks, he's got to step up. He stepped up. Janko stepped up one game, huge and Olaf. Heimerdinger and what did on time
undefeated.
And then Wonder in Game 5. It was almost like you saw G2 evolving before our eyes, but that was also the case for Splice. So I'd want to say if you replay this last game 10 more times, you will very well get 5 different results and 5 times maybe Splice winning. Or do you guys not agree? Was G2 just much stronger than Splice if you look at the 5 games?
Much stronger for sure.
No.
I believe the Heimerdinger pick changed the series. If they had banned at Game 5, I think Splice would have had a much better shot of winning that game. But Hjanen is the best Heimerdinger on the planet. I have never seen a Heimerdinger that good. His use of Zhonya's, the consistent grenades he was landing, the setups with the turrets, like, everything he did was phenomenal, and the fact that they bring that in this gauntlet, he had 2 fantastic performances. I think he was the reason why G2 won today.
I think that is a wonderful statement to make. Being Yarnan is also one of the guys that, you know, everything's changing around. Perks are bringing Yarnan, you have to fill in the shoes for Sven and Mithy. I'm not saying you just filled the shoes, but I am saying that this was very important in bringing your team to victory and bringing the team to the next round.
I definitely agree, but what do you do tomorrow? Because you went Heimerdinger because you had to.
Yes.
Not because you wanted to. Nothing was working with traditional AD carries in that bot lane. So like, okay, let's go Heimer. They win the game with it. They obviously go back to it because it already worked in the first game. If you're Schalke tomorrow,
you ban it.
You probably just get rid of it. And you're like, okay, perfect. Now we should have the superior AD carry in this series. So I just want to see it because I think, I mean, but the Heimer is still such a cool story. Like,
it is.
Game 3, it's Yarnan who loses the game for his team. And then he's the one switching it up and being a huge carry in the next 2.
And in a absolutely fitting turn of events, you guys on Twitter voted for Yarnan as player of the series. Now that is impressive. When you have Perks going off on Akali and Aurelia left, right, and center, most valuable person to turn around the series according to Verius with his Heimerdinger pick, so I don't think we can argue it, but damn.
Look at the difference in those 2 games to the right compared to the one on the left.
Yeah.
I really think that also it takes a lot of good mentality to be confident in a pick like this and just pull it out on stage. Because he really was the turning point for how they're going to play the games. You put way more pressure in team fights. They didn't even know how to respond to the Heimerdinger. Sure, sometimes he was like missing some skill shots in the bot lane fight. But outside of this, how he was controlling just space with the turrets and starting Nashor, I really felt like Splice felt very comfortable when it was their game.
Yeah.
But the moment G2 picked champions like that, they just didn't know what to do. So, yeah, props to him and 100% deserved.
Yeah, also the members on the team, I think Perks in the post-game interview said, you know, we had a game where we couldn't win early game and we couldn't win late game, so we couldn't win. But if we pick either of those, we're going to win the game. I wonder how much that changes now for tomorrow. We'll talk about that in just a little bit. But just to wrap up the story for Splice, they fought hard and long. They played 5 games yesterday. They were victorious over Misfits, and they came incredibly close today. I think these guys deserve a lot of props, and it's not going to make them feel better now at all.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to hate their lives. They hate Game 5. Yeah. Quarterfinal against Schalke go all the way to 5. This one all the way to 5 as well. And they're going to look back at the game and say, wait a minute, the first, 10, 15 minutes, did we take maybe some wrong fights? They didn't have to, But that's just in the moment. They were obviously saying, we need to try and match early. We want to try and fight them there, and they did. I feel bad for them because, they kept going to Game 5s, and it was so close. Like, they almost knocked out Schalke, who made it to the final. So they're inches away from actually going to Worlds.
But I think that's why we called it the most stacked gauntlet we ever had, because all of the teams are just that close. Splice was 2-3 losing against Schalke. Okay, G2 lost pretty handily.
Yeah.
But now they won.
They're
But now they
Now
won
they won.
3-2. So, if anything, we can expect tomorrow a series just like we had today and yesterday. So I'm actually really, really excited for this gauntlet specifically. Even though it sucks for some of the teams, I think all of the teams can just, you didn't lose to some cheese or something like this. You just lost to a team that was stronger than you, so you take it with dignity.
Yeah, G2 had to, had to go deep today. They had to really scrape the bottom of the barrel, maybe, if you say it. I mean, Wondro came up huge in Game 5. I think it was a group effort from them.
And what I get excited about as a European fan is that our top teams are really competitive. And I think we're all in agreement that Fnatic is like a cut above many of the other teams in Europe. But then you go one step down below Fnatic and you can see how close all these teams are. They're constantly trading games. They're constantly battling it out, changing their styles, evolving throughout series. And that just makes me really excited to see how all these teams will perform at Worlds. Because I think Europe, especially in the second half, the split has been super competitive.
I agree with you. We'll look forward more also tomorrow in Ready Check and also in PGL when we know who our 3 seeds will be out of Europe that go to Worlds. For now, though, I think we need like a little bit of comic relief to like settle down after all the action. There was a lot of back and forth. There were a lot of emotions. I know how you 3 are feeling. You guys are probably excited. So we're going to do a special PGL edition of My Face When. So for the guys that have been watching since this morning,
We didn't have the
this
signs.
afternoon, we didn't actually have the signs. Now we have them. I do only have 2 sets.
Just give Deficio
I
his.
share.
Yeah.
No.
Do you want to hear
Wait,
first?
Yeah,
No, I want him to have it.
I have this one. Exactly. Wait, no. Vidis,
Give
you
it
have
to
this
Vidis.
one.
Perfect.
I am
Wait,
now
you
a
are the
viewer.
face. You are the face. So if you have this one, you just do like.
Okay, I'll
All right,
try.
guys, you guys at home can also still vote. You can do the Yasuo by doing OOH.
That's that one.
The Fischio, which it can be whatever you want it to be. Crying, sad, and Are You Serious? RUSRS for the Leona. And of course, yeah, the Fischio. I've said that already. So you guys can vote at home as well. So we'll see. Let's take a look. It is a surprise for me as well. We're going to start by some action from today. I believe this is probably a highlight roll.
Ali, it's just like nobody's expecting it. And then here also the 1v1.
Yeah, and Duke famously said, yeah, the only way we lose this game is if Akali gets fed.
And then.
But is this Are You Serious or is this more like
I don't know.
See,
I don't
I'm
know.
feeling it's an Are You Serious? Is Perks this good? Like
For me, it's like an O, like oh my god, and look at
Wait,
the
everything
smirk,
said
you know.
what? So at this point, I don't know if people just want to. They want to see that ridiculous picture of you over
give
and
the
over.
people what they want.
Give the people what they want. Give them the Fischio.
I'm so sad people actually don't get to see what this picture was supposed to be. How it ended up this way.
Look at the dreamy, the dreamy stare.
Time.
Definitely.
I
Look at
love
the
that
hope.
we got to look
Look
at
at the
some
hope in those eyes.
Perks highlights once again because he did come up huge today on Akali and on Aurelia. Next up is a very special clip of us almost, but not quite hitting our marks. Welcome everyone to the EULCS post-game I'll be right back. Welcome everyone to the EULCS post-game lobby. I am here with the Fischio, with Sheepy, and in just 1 second,
An empty chair.
Trevor Quickshot Henry is gonna. This is not as easy as it looked. This is. Okay. I love these chairs, of course. Love it. Greatest chairs I've ever sat on. But yeah, things are getting a little bit silly here. That's just a Fischio one.
That's the official face.
that is
Yeah.
definitely a Deficio.
How do you react to this? You only can. Actually, can we have the comparison?
Wow,
Wow.
it's lifelike.
Yeah.
I mean, it's my face.
It's
Hopefully.
like it's almost like
The acting
Deficio's in the
skills,
room.
the acting
skills.
Are you wearing the same suit too?
Let me
Yes.
see.
Yeah. I
You
think
got to see my
It's
suit.
his only
Yes.
suit.
Blue.
Let's just
The
say
only
yes.
suit he owned.
Yes.
Dude, anyone
blue
at
is,
home,
you
they're
know.
just voting the Fischio all the time.
Hey, no, I went from 90% to 70. I dropped
This
right
is a bit
there.
delayed. There's an O.
I like how some of them are like sad.
Yeah, there's O. I think that was a bit of an O. Okay, next one. I'm not the only one who had a few fails this weekend, apparently. Production, can you please show everyone what happened just a few moments ago? What?
Oh. Oh my god.
Oh, get it up! Oh
That's my favorite moment ever.
Oh
it again. Look at it. Then he tries to go for the handshake, maybe.
Oh,
he gives him the mic.
Oh.
Thank you for the production team. That's
My heart
pick that up.
hurts.
Oh my god.
This is the closest we've ever got to Korean hypecast.
Man,
Look at the boat swing.
it has to be sad. Man,
And it's competitive.
You can pause that right before he just completely dodges the fist.
Yeah.
Just be like, this is here. This is the moment where he
Medic went to the classroom. He's like, I'm going home early
Yeah.
today. And we're like, what's going on?
I believe this
Everything
is also
explained.
his last day on broadcast. He's done. I think he's flying to EU Masters tomorrow. So, damn, what a start.
I
What a
want
send-off.
you to apologize on
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
the poor guy.
Alrighty, let's go to the
I
next one. We
respect
do also look forward to tomorrow. Alrighty, apparently Dracos isn't off the hook either. Let's take a look.
What did he do?
Very weak front line
Oh no!
compared
this
to some of the other drafts we've
Alright, let's
seen
listen,
where we have
let's
2 or 3 tanks. Splice obviously packing 2 tanks again.
he got it!
God, it's like that scene from Mission Impossible. I assume that one where they kill someone when they're hiding.
Wow, that was statement, man.
Get the Fisher face up. I guess he's a huge Mission Impossible fan.
Oh my God.
Actually,
I assume.
the options for this one are only
Was
the
that
official,
even a
the
thing?
official, the official,
I
the
don't
official.
know.
That was so deficio face. It couldn't get more deficio.
It could also be an Are You Serious?
Yeah,
There's-
also.
I mean,
No.
Cancelled all the others.
Oh, all
Oh,
the
yeah.
others have been
I
cancelled.
mean, they can only be right at this point now.
So I think, guys, I have a hunch. All these together, they count up to 100%.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
yes.
So actually,
I was making a joke.
I was right.
Oh. But I got so when he said it, I got scared for a moment because like Pyrus done this with me as well. He named a movie and I went like, I haven't watched that. I have no clue what you're doing. People got mad at me for not knowing it.
You're
And Paul-
famously uncultured.
you know, Paul did the same with like an anime, and I was
Yeah.
like Attack on Titans and whatever, and people also
You got it
mad.
right this time.
Yeah.
Isn't it on Titan?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Never mind.
You were
Carry on
right.
with
I
your
got it.
story. But you
Oh.
got.
So
you
when
were
he said
confused.
this, I was like, wait, should I know this?
Wait, you know what Mission
Is that the
Impossible
pop
is, right?
culture
Yes,
reference?
but not a Heimerdinger
Oh, okay.
with turrets in the
Yeah.
brush killing someone. I was like, is this a very famous scene or something?
We can make that work.
I'm not gonna say anything until he reacts again. And then when he went
Yeah.
like, wait a minute,
I
was like,
assume.
oh,
It was
okay.
literally just the
Yeah.
way he goes, I assume.
I
that it
assume.
was like, oh.
It's like the scene,
All
I
right.
think.
Okay, guys. We need to make a hard cut to get serious again, so I'm going to take your
All
toys
right,
away from
you
you.
can take the
Oh,
toys.
you can't take.
Can't
Can we
take my face.
Yeah, can we put a
Exactly.
mask on it?
And I do have another prop. It's not prop comedy, but I have this Schalke duck
Hey,
to
that's
lead us
mine.
into the next topic of conversation, and that is, back in all seriousness, G2 was victorious today after 5 games, and now tomorrow they go up against Schalke 04. We also have a couple of quotes from the coach Andre or Giotto from Schalke 04 that he sent in today that we asked him about. What did he say? Let's take a look. It is a team that bounced back from their bad performance. Now they have shown everything, which will be an advantage for us. I think this is a great start of the talking point. I think this is one of the big things that you guys brought up as well. G2 has shown so much. How much is that going to hamper them tomorrow?
Oh, so much. They showed the Heimer.
Yeah.
That's literally the main thing they showed. They showed the first couple of games, it was the Perk show alone. And the Aatrox top from Wonder. That then got banned in most of the games after in the second phase, and they had to swap to Heimerdinger for Janen to step up his performance. Like, I don't think you could have shown a lot more than that. Because all the other picks are pretty standard. I'm not expecting like huge surprises in the mid or jungle. So I think Schalke will sit at home and be like, okay, we've just seen it. The change to Heimer was huge. They can get rid of that if they want to in the first couple of games.
As a counter argument to that, they've also seen an Aatrox, an Urgot, the Swain that needs to be banned, the Akali
You
that
don't need
needs
to
to
ban
be
No, the
Swain.
Swain
That
is-
Swain was garbage ban.
Okay, well, never mind then. You don't need to ban. But I just mean that on the other flip side, you never know what Schalke is now thinking about that we're not even seeing as, damn, we cannot let that through, which may open up some
That's
other things.
true.
Because Wonder on Urgot, which took it all the way in 5 games again, was also a very influential pick.
Yes.
So there are 2 sides to every story.
Yeah.
But I do think that given Janen's performance, it would be crazy not to ban it. Because when you think about one of the big win conditions that Schalke had, it was get upset to mid to late game team fights and enable him. And we know that Hyun and Wadid is not a duo that will shut down your 2v2. So if Upset and Vander can have a free laning phase and all they have to do is ban Heimerdinger to get that, then I'm sure Schalke are looking at this and saying, this is a really easy setup for us and we're likely going to take advantage of it.
Yeah, which I found weird because when Medic was interviewing Perks was saying and attributed all of the win mostly to Jankos having a stronger early game jungle. And I was really expecting Perks to say, you know, our bot lane started picking Heimerdinger and we got so much pressure over that. So maybe, I don't know exactly where to gauge now what exactly G2's strengths are. I think definitely they don't feel so confident if it comes to team fighting. I think that was something they consistently lost, even in the last game. Only when they started like picking people apart and so on, this was when it was working. But when they started grouping up, they really made a lot of mistakes.
Yeah, I think we learned a lot of things. We learned that they do not want to put Wonder just on a tank, which obviously could have been a thing going in, seeing as the meta has been mainly tank top laners until Urgot now showed up. We learned that Jankos wants now to be proactive in the early game and was very good at it, especially with the Olaf. And we learned the Heimerdinger was kind of the fallback plan for the bot lane. So I think...
And also that Perks is playing, needs to play champions that are really strong and for individual play, Irelia, Akalia.
Really well.
And he played really well.
With those, he has been playing really, really well.
But
with
I think,
Maza was like, meh.
I honestly don't think Schalke could have asked for more information. Now, I'm not saying it's enough for him to just run over G2, but we saw a lot of things, and you have one day. Now, the thing is with Yanan, we don't know if there's other mages.
Yeah.
Like,
Ziggs.
he's played a lot of other stuff in the past. Yeah, sure, Ziggs, whatever, that kind of stuff. So it might not just be the Heimerdinger. And that's something the series
Maybe that's
tomorrow
what the
could
Swain
show.
ban's for.
I mean, it could be. So the Swain ban, to me, was because it can be flexed and it can be taken top against tanks. That's what I thought when I saw it the first time. I still felt like during the series, you could try and drop it and see if they're actually going to play it. Because to me, things like Olaf and these kind of things were higher priority than grabbing a Swain in the first phase. But I could be completely wrong here.
Yeah, we will see. Let's talk a bit about Schalke then. It is so tricky, though, because for G2, it was all about saving their year. You know, they'd been a bit down after the finals in Copenhagen. In summer, it was all up and down. Then they go out without glory against Misfits in the quarterfinal. So this is really where they all have to do it. They've done phenomenally today, and they probably have a feeling of riding the momentum into tomorrow after coming off that high. Schalke came from Madrid, lost the final, but was still, I think, hopeful about their performance there, but now has had time to get into their own heads. And they know we have built this all up. We won so much at the end of the split. We came so close in Madrid, and we have one chance. Oh, we have one chance? I think there's a lot going on there, which I hope and I know that they have good surroundings. They have a good sports psychologist. They've talked about it many, many times. But damn, this is for all the marbles. This is for the World Championship, and this is for the most important match in your year.
So, having spoken to mainly just Amazing, the way he often frames it is that he's actually really pleased with how the split overall went.
Yeah.
And the fact that they went from not even qualifying in playoffs last split to second and having a really competitive final against Fnatic, the team is actually in good spirits from my understanding. And I don't think they're going to come in overconfident. I think that they've always shown really good respect towards all of their opposition. I think that the biggest difference between them is that they feel so well-rounded. They showed that they can match early skirmishing and early playmaking when they went up against both Fnatic and Vitality. They also showed that they have really good late-game team fighting, and when we compared them to Splyce in the quarterfinals, we kind of looked at these two teams and say they're similar, but Schalke are just that bit better at everything that Splyce do. So if you think about how competitive this series was today, Schalke, in my eyes, are like the next level up from what Splyce looked to bring, which is why I think they'll be that much harder to take down for G2.
I agree with everything on paper, but as Chuck said, like, when you're actually sitting there and playing the game, and now we don't know how this week is gone for Schalke.
True.
Like,
so true.
So that's obviously the big question mark, but on paper, the reason Schalke lost to Fnatic was due to late-game team fighting. G2 are way worse late game than Fnatic are. So that thing is gone. It's really all about the early game against G2, and Schalke has already faced multiple teams who wanted to focus on the early game and done well against it.
It comes down to pressure for me. I do not doubt Schalke's ability to play the late game team fights better and to have the qualities to win that game, win 3 games and win that match and go to Worlds. But there's a lot on the line. This is the most pressure that these players will have felt for a very, very long time. If they've been through a lot, I'll give them that. But they are going to need to turn it up to 100 tomorrow to win.
Yeah. Personally thinking about it, I already get excited. Like, I know how it is. And I kind of feel, I don't know why, but I feel excited myself. Like, if I was playing this game, because it's the last game of the entire, you know,
Summer,
right?
Yeah.
And you're making a standpoint here. You'll have the last performance where people are judging you off as well. So, and then after this, you have again to fight through the entire play-in stage for Worlds. So, you know, having here a good performance and really showing what you can do is so important for both of these teams. And I think G2 got their jitters out. I think Schalke already has some confidence because they performed relatively well against Fnatic. So, I mean, it's gonna be, I think it was called the barn burner or
Barn
Sure,
burner.
yeah.
It's Pyra's
the Pyros barn burner.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a hell of a match.
Yeah.
And at the end of the season, it was G2 versus Schalke that was literally our final match to determine the seeding, the placements, everything, the tiebreakers. And it was G2 that ended up falling short. And we know how frustrated G2 was. And you can imagine they are so hungry, so ready. And we heard from Perks, he is excited to play up against Schalke tomorrow. He said that he loves the gauntlet, which took me by surprise a little bit.
Man.
But yeah, the adrenaline he must be feeling, I imagine that G2 are going to come in primed and ready, and I am expecting a really good series tomorrow.
It's crazy. It's about Perks and his team, and then I'm looking, of course, at Perks at the middle of that team, going back to Worlds. No matter what that G2 looks like, you cannot imagine a player like Perks not being at Worlds, and it's about all the stories on Schalke as well. Of course, all the members on G2 as well, but an amazing, we followed for so long the guy that came back from the casting depths of hell and now finds himself in the gauntlet and could find himself back at Worlds. It's the stuff that dreams are made of tomorrow.
Or Chachi, for example. He has not been to Worlds once. And, I've been
That's
working
your
with him.
fault.
That is true. I've not been to Worlds either. So I would
That's
be...
also your fault.
That's also my fault. But I would have really loved for, Hilly already made it.
Yeah.
And I would have given it to Xerx as well. Now I think Chachi really wants to. I think even though he gets caught sometimes on side lanes alone and dies, he's like one of the guys who plays generally very consistent. And if he has a tank, he has always relevance in the game. So I think if I look through Schalke's lineup right now, everybody of this team is just so freaking good at their role. Where from G2, I really think they have their up and down moments. So I think it will come so much down to draft. And if Schalke is prepared, I think G2 doesn't stand a chance. And if Schalke is not, then if G2 can surprise, they will win.
But so to tack onto some of the things that you mentioned, you think about some of the players on both teams, and for many EU fans, the idea of them not making it to Worlds again is actually heartbreaking. Chachi is one of our oldest top laners in Europe. We also have Nukeduck. The last time he was at Worlds was 2013, and he was one of the first people to ever go up against the Fury of Faker, right? There are so many talented rosters on both squads. Wonder went to Worlds in 2016. Jankos went to Worlds in 2016 as well with H2K, I think. So many of these players, you would say, deserve that spot.
Yeah.
But only a few of them can get it. And that just builds the stakes even more for tomorrow.
Yeah, it's about stepping up when it matters most, you seem. What are you wondering about? Your face was wondering.
That's just my face.
That's just his...
I was just listening.
He's feeling the emotion.
Sometimes he's just
He's like,
the life goes out.
something that I find interesting?
Well, I just heard blah, blah, blah. I was looking at sheep.
they're like,
I was annoyed at my lack of socks and everything. It's
you didn't
terrible.
point it out. Camera, are you able to get the vision?
I didn't think I was going to be on PPL today. I didn't think I was going to be on today, so I didn't need longer
Hashtag
socks.
nudity.
And then these
Cover
casters
yourself up.
come running to the desk and
Get
ask
the
me to be
ankles
on.
out.
All right, well, I'm going to give you... So, the Fish Show,
Yes.
the age-old question. Are you back on the Schalke hype train
Yes,
tomorrow?
give me my duck.
look at how
Mine.
Look how he's dressed. Nothing says more Schalke
It will
than
sit
this.
right here.
So does anyone
No.
have a differing opinion? Who thinks that Schalke is not going to make it tomorrow?
Do you?
No. I think Schalke can do it.
I too believe in Schalke.
I actually
A lot of
changed.
faith.
I put my vote on G2 just a bit earlier. I know, but I don't know. I need to sleep on it. I don't know. I
Roll
have
the
this
dice.
feeling. I said, what did I say to you?
You said
just now?
earlier that you just think G2 is going to make the run.
It's going to run the gauntlet.
Yeah, and then...
And
I mean, it would be a great story after such a rough second
Every
half.
story is a great
Great
story
story.
to Fishio.
we know
Yes,
nothing.
it's
It would
true.
be.
We know nothing.
You're technically
No,
not.
I mean, come on.
Technically, you're right.
If Schalke do not make it, to me, that is a huge upset. Because you have had this entire best of 5 to check out what G2
Yeah.
are doing. You have been their superior team all the playoffs to G2 as well. I feel like you have all the cards, and it almost feels like Schalke are the only ones who can mess it up for themselves.
Yeah, I feel like exactly with
And
this
that's obviously
thought
the problem,
process,
right?
with this thought process, you know, if you have that already in your head, you already feel like so close, and that's when it's the most
I
dangerous.
hope they're not watching PGL because.
Oh, they're always watching.
This is,
Always.
Amazing needs to write another tweet, you know,
Yeah.
he's waiting for us to say something.
Those ankles.
Also,
He will.
luckily, all those cocky tweets from G2, they won. you know.
Oh, yeah, that's true. I mean, a lot of retweets.
I had that retweet button ready. In any case, that's it for us for the gauntlet here in EU today. Of course, tomorrow, Schalke 04 versus G2. Later tonight, in 30 minutes, actually, NALCS countdown is going to kick off before Echo Fox versus TSM. Yesterday, the official
What do you
said
think?
it's
Should
gonna
we
be
skip
3-0.
game
It
one?
was? No, I'm so hyped for this. I probably have to sleep because we have to do stuff tomorrow. But
Yeah,
we have to
it was
do stuff
5
tomorrow,
games
yeah.
the last time they played each other. I'm going TSM, though.
I'm going TSM.
I'm going 3-1
Really?
TSM. No, wait, Hooney's not sick anymore.
Yeah.
that's true.
I'm going
The Fox.
TSM.
It's going 5 games then.
I believe in Sven and Mithy.
I believe in Hooney.
What a symbolism of both
I believe
G2
in
and
Hooney as well.
TSM fighting in the gauntlet. I feel like they're going to win so that their paths are kind of aligned.
I just thought it was great. I think it was either a tweet or someone in an interview from Echofox that we should have 3-0'd them last time, so we're going to do it this time. And I'm like, yeah, well, we heard Perks say that today, so I don't know if I trust pro players that much anymore. I think TSM will look good.
Oh, exciting stuff. So you have some time, 30 minutes to get some snacks, get some soda, cuddle in on the couch, and then watch the awesome NALCS countdown. And then after you've watched the best of 5, there's also a rebroadcast of the games here in EU tomorrow. There's also the LCK gauntlet, the final round.
LPL as
Oh yeah,
well.
true.
LPL as well.
LPL as
Literally
well.
So everything
gauntlet.
just goes together.
Every-
The
Everything
4
is
major
colliding
regions
tomorrow.
submit their 3rd seed, and then LPL, NA, and EU go to the play-ins. Due to Korea's record over the last few years in performance, they have all 3 teams seeded straight into groups.
Yeah.
So.
And then everything is concluded for Worlds.
And then,
No,
Or
a
is
couple of the playing
Okay,
teams
okay.
still left to be decided, but we're very, very close.
yeah, we are. And also, it will tomorrow be our very last show from this studio in 2018. So it's going to be a bit emotional, but most of all, it's going to be hype AF. We'll see you tomorrow for Schalke 04 versus G2 Esports for the 3rd seed at Worlds, the last spot on the road to Worlds. See you then.
Deficio face.